This week on Aussie JetSetter, we get to experience what is undoubtedly QantasLink's most old school aircraft. An aviation lover's dream to fly on, but one you'll find rarely operating outside of West Australia, and one that's increasingly hard to experience outside of closed mining charter services. We're flying on an absolutely incredible 31-year-old Fokker 100. An aircraft so popular here in West Australia, so well suited to its vast mining and resources sector that Perth Airport has often been named the Fokker 100 capital of the world. So without further ado, come join me as we get to experience all the old school nostalgia and charm of this seemingly timeless workhorse. Also while showing you what must be the most spectacular seat view available on any Qantas aircraft, offering spectacular views of both wing and jet and the spectacular scenery outside as we cruise up the coast on a recent flight between Perth and Geraldton. Hello, good morning and a very warm welcome on this beautiful warm sunny morning here at Perth Airport. Terminal 4, it's bright and early, just after 6 AM in the morning, and it's already a very balmy 25 degrees outside. Anyway, it's going to be an incredibly exciting morning this morning. Been longing to review the QantasLink Fokker 100 for quite some time now, and today's finally the day we're going to make it happen. I've flown the Fokker 100 once before with QantasLink between Karratha and Perth, but that was before the channel. So this morning we're going to be flying up to the regional city of Geraldton. About an hour or so flight north of Perth this morning, about 400 plus kilometres from Perth by road. I've visited Geraldton many times over the years, usually on the way up to beautiful Kalbarri. But yeah, today is the first time I'm actually going to be flying. So really excited. And in a couple of days time, we were supposed to be flying back on the QantasLink Airbus A319. Fortunately, that was changed last minute, but yeah, we're still getting put on an Air North Embraer E170, also an aircraft type I haven't reviewed before. So yeah, really cool weekend ahead, reviewing 2 new aircraft types for the very first time. Despite there only being a small amount of Fokker 100s, relatively speaking, left operating in the world these days, there's a staggering 4 airlines that operate out of Perth that frequently use them. QantasLink, operated by wholly owned Network Aviation that we're flying today. Virgin Australia still have a few in the fleet. Of course, Alliance Airlines have quite a few, and even I believe Skipper's Aviation have a few in their fleet as well. So very much the home base of Fokker 100s worldwide here in Perth. So without further ado, let's now head into the airport terminal. It's only about an hour or so before departure now, so not much time. But yeah, we'll get checked in, and yeah, come join me as we fly up to Geraldton this morning. Should be a very memorable experience. Let's do it. Before we head into airport terminal, let's have a look at the route information for our flight QF1612 up to Geraldton this morning, because their flight time on this one is exactly 1 hour, covering a great circle distance of 369 kilometres. We're levelling off at 26,000 feet this morning. We're going to do it in just 42 minutes. For information, this morning we're flying out of the adjoining Terminal 3 and Terminal 4 precinct here at Perth Airport, the old traditional domestic side of the airport, which these days is the all but exclusive home of Qantas and QantasLink services here in Perth. Do note, however, Air North do actually technically operate out of Terminal 4 as well. We're flying out of Terminal 4, which is where the bulk of Qantas services depart domestically here in Perth. Terminal 3 does provide overflow capacity, however, and interestingly it does also provide Qantas's international flights out of Perth, which do not operate from the main international terminal. Overall, Perth Airport really has rebounded quite strongly in terms of passenger numbers post the pandemic, currently looking at just shy under 17 million yearly passenger movements. Perth is the 4th largest city in the whole of Australia, and consequently it also unsurprisingly has the 4th busiest airport. Often when travelling out of T3 and T4, wouldn't be the first time, to be honest, I've got them mixed up. Just thinking logically from left to right, you'd actually think T3 comes first, but instead it's T4 followed by T3. Anyway, over at T3 the check-in kiosks were closed, so it's about a minute walk back to T4. Anyway, for all Qantas flights out of Perth, domestic and international, it's a largely self-service, pretty well automated affair here in Perth. What I don't like is that they have the new style of kiosk, which practically force you to check in online on your phone first. Then you scan your phone and it pretty well without warning literally spits out your baggage tag straight away. So unlike with older kiosks where you had more flexibility to review aspects of your booking before finalising check-in, maybe change your seat or add extra bags, these days you've got to do that prior to arriving at the airport. No paper boarding pass either, which is a slight shame in my opinion. Anyway, on to self-service baggage drop, pretty straightforward affair once again here in Perth. Scan your boarding pass, which is probably going to be on your phone at this point, and then plonk your self-tag bag on the conveyor belt and off it should go to your destination without issues. Luckily there are staff on hand however, in case you have any troubles. Anyway, aside from that, security was really quick and easy as I'd expect here early on a Saturday morning here in Perth. Only took a few minutes to get through, so that was no dramas at all. So yeah, pretty quiet overall, so much so the Qantas Club is actually closed. Wouldn't be the first time I've been here at Terminal 4 when the Qantas Club is closed. So yeah, all eligible passengers for the lower level Qantas Club are kindly directed to proceed to the business class lounge. So yeah, bit of a free upgrade for those people. But yeah, we're running pretty short on time this morning, so we're almost ready to board. But yeah, looking like it's going to be a beautiful morning for flying. Absolutely beautiful sunrise out over the Perth Hills. Some great plane spotting opportunities as well. Here at Perth Airport and indeed elsewhere within West Australia, you're going to see three types of QantasLink's aircraft that you'll rarely see elsewhere in Australia. That is the Airbus A319, which are ex-Spirit Airlines, the ex-Jetstar Airbus A320s, and of course most excitingly the Fokker 100s, which we're flying on this morning. Fortunately, no real good views of the QantasLink Fokker 100 lineup from the terminal building this morning, as we are flying from the more remote gates 7 to 10. So go down the escalators, and yeah, it's a bit of a walk down onto the tarmac to view our aircraft. As we walk out to the tarmac, let me really iterate why I think Perth Airport really is the Fokker 100 capital in the world. So based on my rough research, QantasLink have 15 of these aircraft based in Perth. Virgin Australia Regional Airlines have disposed of many of them recently but still have 3, while Skipper Aviations have 2. So that's a total of 20 lightly based at Perth, while Alliance Airlines have 25 in the fleet, with significant operations out of Perth as well. So given there's only 126 Fokker 100s believed to be left in service worldwide, this means approximately 1/3 of these aircraft are based and or operate out of Perth Airport. We've got a beautiful F100 aircraft now in sight. Let's have a look right up to Geraldton this morning. So we're flying on Victor Hotel, November Papa uniform, 31.1 years of age. She first flew for American Airlines, delivered in March of 1994, then was acquired by Tyrolean Airlines, and then quickly after Austrian Airlines in August 2004, followed by Austrian Airlines in July 2012, before Alliance took it up in August 2016. Network Aviation then took it up in November 2016, flying for QantasLink ever since. Anyway, welcome aboard our trusty QantasLink Fokker 100 workhorse. As its title would imply, 100 seats on board in a 2-3 configuration. Seat pitch is absolutely excellent on these aircraft. Must be the most spacious economy class seats on any Qantas aircraft. Probably about 34 inches, which is excellent. Pre-departure I was handed out a bottle of water, which was quite a nice touch. Seat itself is really comfortable, definitely a bit wider than your average Qantas seat. Recline is really generous, but no adjustable headrest. Also at your seat, you've got a very sturdy, generously sized tray table that folds back and extends. You also got individual air nozzles as well, and the air conditioning is icy cold, which is much appreciated on a very hot day like today.
fasten your seatbelt by inserting the confidence seat. Your aircraft has escape signs which the crew will operate in. Smoking, vaping and the use of e-cigarettes. QantasLink aircrafts are fitted with smoke detectors, including in the toilet. In preparation for takeoff, cabin baggage must be securely stowed, your armrest down, your seatbelt closed. Window shades open and your tray table stowed. If you have electronic devices, be sure to turn them to flight mode. You can use any of this on the safety card in your seat pocket. The crew is here to look after you, so please.
Anyway, as you can see, pretty well fit the goat seat on the Fokker 100, which is of course a 19A. Gives you absolutely amazing views of both the wing and the rear mounted turbofan engine. Also sitting on the two abreast left hand side of the aircraft really is going to afford us some amazing views of Perth as we head for the coast, crossing over the port of Fremantle before we make a northerly turn along the beautiful West Australian coastline up north to Geraldton. Anyway, as the absolutely spectacular roaring sound of the rear mounted turbofan engines on the Fokker 100 should bring pure music to the ears of any aviation fan and lover. I'd be silly to add music or unnecessarily edit it with fast forwarding and that. So yeah, just enjoy the absolutely best parts of our taxi out to the runway here this morning in Perth, our takeoff out of Perth, and also our ascent up towards 26,000 feet as we head up north along the coastline towards Geraldton. Then once we're firmly in the air, I'll go over what you can expect on board with the QantasLink Fokker 100 experience. Now, after that absolutely spectacular and scenic takeoff out of Perth this morning, we're now making good progress on our way up to a relatively low cruising altitude of 26,000 feet, leaving the far northern reaches of Perth's northern coastal suburbs behind. It would be good time now to have a look at the onboard food and beverage service on today's very short 40-minute or so flight up to Geraldton. So yeah, as you'd expect, just a very brief snack service this morning. Got offered an almond and blueberry slice for breakfast. That was accompanied by a choice of non-alcoholic beverages, which included tea and coffee, juices, and also soft drinks. Feeling rather sleep deprived and a bit low on energy with such an early start today, I asked for a can of Coke and they literally asked if I wanted a second one, so why not? I took a second one for the road a bit later on. So great to see the crew being proactively very generous in the drink service this morning. Now, believe it or not, in the entertainment department, QantasLink's are progressively rolling out stream-to-your-own-device entertainment on the Fokker 100 fleet. Luckily, this aircraft, which was a T-series version of the Fokker 100, to my surprise, was actually equipped with this technology. You can access it through your mobile device or tablet through the Qantas Entertainment app. Otherwise, you can just access it through your web browser on your laptop or indeed other devices. Just make sure flight mode is on, Wi-Fi is on, connected to the Qantas Wi-Fi. Then you just go to entertainment.qantas.com.au. That will bring it up as well. Really good range of TV shows, movies and children's content overall. Really good. You can also shortlist the content, so plan your entertainment on a flight in advance. Also got a really cool, reasonably responsive in-flight map as well. But yeah, on such a short flight today, I'm really just accessing it for the purpose of showing you what it's like. So overall, pretty good all-round system of stream-to-your-own-device on Qantas. A little bit laggy here and there, but yeah, we're on a 31-year aircraft at the end of the day, so really hard to complain. Anyway, as we quickly make rapidly good progress up the coastline of West Australia, passing the scenic towns of Jurien Bay and Donga along the way, let's now have a quick look at the onboard restroom on the Fokker 100 before we make our descent into Geraldton. So you'll find two lavatories at the rear of the Fokker 100 aircraft. They're pretty retro in nature, but yeah, to be honest, they're in pretty good condition considering it's a 31-year-old aircraft, so no complaints. Anyway, we're well and truly on our descent into Geraldton now, so what better time now to sit back, relax and enjoy the best parts, largely unedited, of our absolutely spectacular landing into Geraldton today. Once on the ground, I'll give my final thoughts and verdict on the very special QantasLink's Fokker 100 experience.
As always, smoking, vaping and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. Please stay there when emptying the overhead lockers as baggage may have moved and could fall out. Before leaving, ensure you check your seat and seat pocket for any personal belongings. We'll be using stairs to disembark. Please ensure you hold the handrail to avoid tripping. Use the designated walkway and refrain from using electronic devices until you are inside. If you can reach your phone, you may now switch off flight mode. On behalf of all of us here at QantasLink's, a warm welcome, thank you for choosing to fly with us. If you're visiting Geraldton, we hope you enjoy your stay, and of course to those returning, welcome home. Thank you and a very good morning.
Cabin crew to Sun Wilson cross stream.
And just like that, welcome to a warm and very sunny Geraldton. Great to be back here finally. Visited Geraldton many times in the past, quite frequently actually, but probably about 5 years or so since I actually last visited. So great to be back, and yeah, great overall flight today on QantasLink. For your information, Geraldton Airport is one of the busiest regional airports in the whole of West Australia, located about 11 kilometres east of the Geraldton city centre, on the Mount Magnet to Geraldton Road. According to the latest statistics, it serviced around about 80,000 yearly passenger movements, but in the past it has peaked as high as around 130,000. Perth is by far the most dominant regularly scheduled destination here from Geraldton, serviced by two airlines, QantasLink that we flew in on today, who operate a variety of Fokker 100, Airbus A319 and Airbus A320 aircraft, while Nexus Airlines have a base here in Geraldton, operating Q400 flights down to Perth. Interestingly enough, Nexus also operate a very cool milk run all the way up the coastline of West Australia, all the way practically up to Darwin. So yeah, they do fly to Carafa directly here from Geraldton. Anyway, let's now get a taxi into the city centre, which is going to cost me about $30, where we'll wrap up today's QantasLink Fokker 100 experience. And just like that, folks, welcome to sunny and a very hot Geraldton, capital of West Australia's stunning Coral Coast. It's an absolutely stifling 42 degrees Celsius out here in late March. Geraldton's a beautiful coastal city, one of the largest regional centres in West Australia, population of around 40,000 odd people, just over 400 kilometres north of Perth. While it is a really nice city with a climate comparable to Perth, when it does get hot, it does have a tendency to get extremely hot. Literally 7 days in a row here of over 40 degrees Celsius. In fact, it got so hot here one day last year, it got up to 49.9 degrees Celsius. Also, a day earlier this year, it got up to 49.3. So yeah, just tells you how hot it can get here in Geraldton. Anyway, what more can I say about this morning's QantasLink Network Aviation Fokker 100 flight up to beautiful Geraldton? Well, it was just an all-round joy of a flight this morning. Absolutely amazing being able to finally review the QantasLink Fokker 100. Absolutely an AvGeek's dream flying on this aircraft. Definitely select 19A is definitely the GOAT seat on this aircraft. If you want to see the engine and the wing view, I would highly recommend picking out that seat in advance. At 31 years of age, this aircraft was kept in incredible condition. Really good nick, the old Fokker 100 we flew out on today. And yeah, it's just a really comfortable all-round aircraft. The legroom is really good. The seats are really comfortable. Very, very spacious interior as well. And other things such as the air conditioning are icy cold and work really well, which is really important when flying to destinations such as Geraldton or the north of Western Australia, where it's well and truly above 40 degrees much of the year. Yeah, aside from that, the flight and the crew were really A+ on this morning's service as well. Really great crew today. Obviously a very empty flight. had a whole row to myself and many more free rows around the back of the aircraft. So that made it obviously a very comfortable flight. Even if it was a full flight, the really spacious legroom on these aircraft will certainly make it much more comfortable. Certainly better than a QantasLink A320, the old ex-Jetstar aircraft, which have very incredibly tight legroom. But yeah, the onboard service as well, really impressed by the cabin crew, who literally asked if I wanted a second Coca-Cola when I asked for it, so that was pretty impressive. Also got a snack provided, so it was most appropriate for a short 45-minute flight up to Geraldton. And yeah, we left on time. We arrived probably about 15-20 minutes early as well, so absolutely no complaints in the Qantas service department. These 31-year aircraft even have onboard stream-to-your-own-device entertainment, which I thought was quite incredible. Really was not expecting it on this aircraft. So who knows, maybe they can even bring on free Wi-Fi in the future, you never know. Generally speaking, regional flights in West Australia are generally quite expensive, even for short flights up to Geraldton. So yeah, I just used points this morning, 8,000 Qantas points I think it was, and about $70 in tax. So for it was a pretty good redemption. Anyway, if you have enjoyed the QantasLink Fokker 100 experience this morning, I know I certainly enjoyed every minute of that flight. Really appreciate if you could just give it a like, leave your comments down below, share the video amongst your family and friends, and of course, if you have already subscribed to my channel and you do watch my content, a huge thank you to you guys for your ongoing support. Really much appreciated. Maybe if you haven't already and you do enjoy my content, please do consider subscribing to the channel, clicking that bell and notification button on so you don't miss my many more flight reviews coming up from around my recent trip around the United States, the east coast of Australia, Fiji and elsewhere in the world. But in the meantime, you may also wish to visit my website, aussiejetsetter.com.au, for latest and flight reviews, interesting news, destination guides, frequent flyer hacks and more. Also check out my dedicated Instagram page, catch up with what I'm doing around the world in real time. Also get sneak peek previews of my upcoming content there, usually on the day it releases. Really cool, even got a Discord server these days, really trying to get that off the ground. So yeah, be sure to join, link in the description down below if you want to discuss all things aviation and travel with me and fellow other enthusiasts. But from here in beautiful Geraldton, albeit a very hot Geraldton, on West Australia's stunning coast, thanks so much again for tuning in to today's QantasLink Fokker 100 experience. But until next one, safe travels wherever that might take you.